Hey there everybody, and welcome to another Sonic Boom commentary. I'm your host this time, Tanner, and I'm joined with Donnie and Kevin, and we are going to be looking at Episode 3, Translate This. I wasn't in the commentaries last week, so I didn't get to put in my opinion, but... So, let's get started with this one. Can I just say, because I didn't get to say it last week, the show has the absolute worst intro I've ever seen.
You did not have Sonic X UK version.
I don't know, because at least... Okay, actually, fair point. But, I don't know, just, it's so short and so nothing. Like, there's nothing to the intro.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Sonic X. Sonic X.
Don't.
Yeah, that's what the intro pretty much is. Not even joking.
So, I don't know. I watched this episode, and... I just can't get over the fact that they couldn't hire another actor for the robot, so they just had Roger Craig Smith do a slightly different voice.
Budgets.
You know,
It kind of...
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, like, it kind of reminds me of Ryan Drummond back with Sonic Heroes, how he had to do Sonic and Metal Sonic.
Metal Sonic, yeah, I am the real Sonic.
I guess that sort of makes sense, though, because he's supposed to be a clone. This is just a random robot, who, I must say, is pretty funny. I like this whole concept, actually.
This becomes infinitely funnier if you think that UT here is actually Unreal Tournament, and therefore this is some kind of beta version of Zan Krieger.
Yep.
So I guess from that whole thing with Styx just there, it's like, are we to believe that Styx, everything that comes out of her mouth is just the first thing that comes to mind, and that she doesn't think about?
Absolutely, she has no sort of subconscious or inner voice or dialogue amongst herself. It is just there is just direct path from brain to mouth, basically.
Yep. For those who aren't quite aware, this episode might be a little bit familiar to people. That's because a portion of this episode was actually table read at the Sonic Boom event this year.
Indeed.
So wait, just going back a sec. The whole thing of where UT was almost like, oh, Amy loves Sonic, and I don't know, I just feel like, is that supposed to be a startling revelation? Like,
in this series, it is.
I guess
in this series, she's somehow embarrassed about it. You know, that thing that she's been proclaiming for the past what?
20 years.
21 years.
I think when it gets to the point that The Simpsons parodies it, that it becomes just common knowledge. Like, that shouldn't... I don't know. I just feel like... I thought they said that they weren't even going to be touching that with Amy's new characterization, but whatever.
I like the sort of ear dishes. If you saw the back of it, was all a bit sort of like scuffed up, and so it really is just like some old scrap that Tails has just flung together for this. But hey, any episodes that we get to see more of Orbot and Cubot, because they've sort of been very periphery so far, it is a good thing.
Yeah, they really did get a nice little bit in the spotlight last week, but...
Well, one thing I'd love them to have done is to just really emphasize that this version is somehow evil. It's like have the dials upside down, so it'd be like more like evil, angry eyes.
So we're not going to talk about how Tails has absolutely no security on his house, and that robots can just sneak into his room at night?
Tails lives back in the old days where you could leave a window open at night and there'd be no problem, and everybody knows each other down the street and all those things.
One thing that would really be telling about this Amy compared to the main Sonic Amy, if Amy had found out about what the robot translated, about what Sonic thought in the main Sonic universe, Sonic would be a pancake right now.
I like the fact that the Styx basically tries to snap Knuckles' neck there, but Knuckles is so huge now. It's just like Knuckles just looking like annoyed at her.
So one thing that I really like about Styx, and we were just talking about this on Facebook, where Jamie doesn't like Styx, but one thing I really like about Styx is that she's actually extremely violent, and like the fact that there's a whole unwritten rule that you can't say like die or kill on a kids TV show, and yet that's what she says. She talks about, like, you know, she's not gonna die, and there's just something hilarious about her being just so extreme about stuff, but not in a Shadow the Hedgehog extreme way, you know, like a normal extreme.
She's paranoid and hyper, which is exactly what everyone else isn't.
See,
the only change that Eggman made to this duplicate of the robot was he added a speaker. It's just like, you could have done so much more.
Normally, I hate hyperactive characters. Normally, I think they're just like a pain, but for some reason, I'm okay with Styx, and I don't know what it is. It's strange.
At this time, Styx is still to grow on me and be the character that she should be. But just, hello, Motorbug, yay.
I was like, okay, so this episode really, like, we saw a brief glimpse of it, I think, in the last one. But
I want that cake.
That's an awesome cake.
That is awesome.
But, okay, so we've established there are, like, Badnik-type enemies in this world. And it just really makes me angry, because you then play Rise of Lyric, and they're all super generic robots. It's like, they have these designs for boomified badniks, and yet, nope, we're just gonna go with generic red robot with a laser sword, and it's like, no.
Yeah. Well, the difference there is, I guess, is that because aren't they machines from Lyric's era, and therefore not badniks?
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. Even if they were, I don't think anyone would object if there were ancient badniks. Like, if the ancient badniks just looked like Motobugs, no one would object.
Yep.
Yeah. I do love Eggman's sort of response to Tails' demand, just or what? Which is just, it's like, so what exactly are you going to do about this? Tails obviously hasn't thought it through.
When Eggman says this will be delicious, I swear he's channeling M. Bison from the old Street Fighter cartoon.
Delicious!
It's like, oh, this is delicious! It's like, that has to have been written, because just the way it comes out is like so similar. I love it. Also, he just has a computer there. And I feel so bad for Orbot. I really do.
What would have been more funny is if we then found out that Q-Bot is above him.
Oh my god.
That would have been just ultimate. It turns out that Q-Bot's like 3 places above him, and then you've got like this little sub-story going. Oh well, here comes the robot. Yay! Knuckles has realised now that, you know, you don't actually have to go and do an episode. The episode will resolve itself if you lie on the Sun Lounger.
Moral of the story, kids. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
General Hedgehog, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars.
Eggman, I am your father. The translator is really good at this.
So this is what I don't get. Was this part of Tails' plan, or is just this the robot being dumb? I don't get it.
I assume by the ending of this, which you guys will obviously see in a couple of minutes, that it was his plan. Although it's not as clear as it could have been.
Yeah, I kind of figured that too. Like, it took me a moment to realize that. Like, wait, why did the robot do that? Oh, right, it was intentional because Tails not right.
I will say the action sequences in this are pretty good. That's you know, whenever you're watching like a comedy cartoon, you know, the action sequences sometimes aren't up to snuff. I definitely think they capture the feeling of Sonic very well with these action sequences.
They balance great comedy with great action, and I like that.
Slow-mo also helps. Whenever they do the slow-mo, very nice.
Oh yeah, the slow motion.
We'll have
really
a great example. We'll have a great example of use of slow-mo in a minute, actually.
For sure.
Mm. And when they do it very well.
Shipping fuel, shipping fuel, shipping fuel, shipping fuel!
That's pretty much actually the nicest thing Sonic has ever said. With regard to Amy. And here's the slow-mo. Ooh. Sonic avoids getting punched in the crotch. There, that would have been quite painful.
So
Knuckles,
like
what are
Styx
you
just
eating?
goes at it with her boomerang. What? Like I get it. She's kind of insane, but what is she trying to accomplish? Like
Relevance.
that's true.
Step,
And
step.
I was sort of expecting a Zelda reference with the fact that boomerang plus eyeball, you know? Like, whenever there's an enemy with a giant eyeball, you hit it with a ranged weapon. I was expecting, like, Styx to just be like, oh, that makes sense, and throw her boomerang into its eye. But
Styx, set Knuckles up.
nice callback to the volleyball a bit earlier.
Yep, absolutely. And I especially like this because Knuckles gets to destroy the robot. So far, Knuckles hasn't been that active, really, in the series.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Thanks for the rescue, guys.
It's a nice touch. It doesn't surprise me that it takes multiple episodes to kind of get into the thick of things, but now it's the sign of things actually taking hold, and my God, Styx.
I like how Styx just like, I was gonna do it eventually, so why not just do it now?
Yep, sounds about right. doesn't
I
it?
am going to commit robot murder. You will not stop me.
Well,
Anyway, that was the end of episode 3.
yep, episode 3. Overall, pretty good episode. You know, I think they're all consistently been good so far, so, yeah.
Yep.
I was feeling actually the characterization of everybody was in that one was a little bit more what we expected it to be. Because while the things that we were actually talking about on the last 2 was how we thought that Amy and Styx weren't in the position, sort of in terms of character, we thought they were going to be. In that sort of Amy could have quite easily been doing what Styx was doing, and Styx didn't seem to be doing what she wasn't being the crazy, and that was what Amy was being. So it's getting more into a groove. So let's see what happens in episode 4.
Sounds good.
Yep.